Yeah, this is the terminal window where the first part in this particular command prompt is the username, and this mantra is my host name or the my name of my computer, which I customized it during the installation process. So now you can see one cursor here blinking here. This is the cursor here. This is the location where you can type any commands for the Linux. Now when I say commands for the Linux operating system, as a user you can interact with the operating system using some of the commands. These commands we call it as a shell commands. So various commands you can practice under this. So now let us try some commonly used commands. Now whenever I open and I logged in into my system, and if you open the terminal, now we say that now user is in his home directory. Now you can type it also. Say for example, if you want to find out what is your working directory now in the computer, you can write the first command is pwd. This stands for present working directory. You can note down these commands also. Present working directory. So you type the command. The moment you type the command, then you press enter key. Then you can see that you are going to get a response that present working directory is /home/Manmohan, because within the home folder there is one more folder called Manmohan, which is the home folder of user called Manmohan here in this computer. This is the present working directory. When I say present working directory, in case if I create any folders, any files, it will be stored in this particular folder. This folder, the topmost folder is called root. Look into the orientation of this slash also. This there is a difference between Windows and Linux while writing these path names. Now /home is the first folder in the computer directory. In the root folder, you will get a folder called directory called home, HOME. These are system designed names. Under that, within the home folder, every user of a computer will get a directory location. Now my username is Manmohan, so I am getting a location called Manmohan. So in other words, I can say that within the home folder, there is one more folder called Manmohan. Automatically, when I log in, I will log in into this particular folder. I am inside this folder now. Now, whatever I create, whatever I download from internet after connecting to the internet or if I create some files using editors, everything goes into this particular folder. This stands for present working directory, PWD. Now the next command, whatever, so if you would like to see what are the contents already inside this particular machine or in this folder called Manmohan, then I can list all the commands, all the content of this particular folder or the directory or in my home directory by typing ls. So this is very much equal to dir command in command prompt of a DOS or in Windows. The moment you type ls and then just press enter key, it will list so many different files. You can notice there are different contents folders are there. This is the within folder called Manmohan or my home folder. I have different folders called desktop, then documents, then download, then a folder called Dropbox, and so many things. All these are the different folders. If you want to look into,
Sir, if we are using dual boot Linux system, then also these commands are similar in that terminal also.
terminal also. See, now my computer is also a dual boot computer. But when I do a login into the Linux with the Linux operating system, Windows will never come into picture. You can so entire computer looks like a Linux computer. Now Windows is there in a separate partition of a hard disk. That will not appear here at all. Okay, that is a point to remember. Now I have a Windows 10 installed in this. If any questions are there, you can raise, no problem.
So what about VirtualBox? What if we use VirtualBox?
VirtualBox also you can use. The way of installations are different. Okay, for experimenting it for a beginner or initially, if you have a Windows and if you don't want to alter that setup, then you can go for VirtualBox, and on that VirtualBox you can install Linux. Then you will get the separate Linux installation within that Windows operating system. Operating system will give a separate space. It will share some resources for Linux. These are the two different kinds of installation, how a user can use Linux in his Windows machines. Either you can go for a dual boot, or else you can use virtualizer, or else you can completely uninstall Windows and you can use Linux. That depends upon your requirements. Anyway, I will further discuss about how to install, etc., etc. If time permits, we can have a discussion also. Now, my idea is to introduce you to some of the basic shell commands after the installation. Now, assume that you install Linux, maybe in a virtual machine, or else maybe a standalone installation, or else a dual boot installation. After the installation, the moment you log in, you are going to get this. Then, in this, you can perform your tasks. That's what my idea. So this is about ls command is very much equal to dir command. But the beauty of this, the so-called shell command is that along with the ls, you can pass various parameters also along with this. Say, for example, if I simply type ls, you can see what is the output. For the ls command, look into this particular point. So you can see this output. But within ls, in case if you want a detailed output for the same content, you can say type minus, or I call it as a hyphen here whenever I work with the command line. It is not a negative number indication, or I call it as a hyphen L. ls, so command is ls hyphen L. The moment you type it and press enter key, you can notice that the way in which the output is presented. Okay, one sec. See this. The whole set of output is displayed in this way. Now there are many aspects we need to learn from here. What is this? What are these characters are, etc., etc. What is its significance, etc. So we are going to discuss further in the class. In today's class, just you did not bother about that. Now for the moment, you assume that. So these are the file names or the folder names available in this particular computer, and this is about the size of the files. How many number of bytes. See, there is one video called The Mind Behind Linux and the Story of Linux. Two video I have downloaded. So that is a quite large file. It says that this file is created on March 14th. All these dates, whatever you can see, is the date of creation of that particular file content. Okay, and other things like what are these? And these are called permission bits. What is this permission bits? What are the different category of permissions are there for one file in Linux system, etc. That also we are going to explore it further. So the first command we discussed is about PWD, and the next command we try to explore is ls. Similarly, in now, say for example, there are some content in the terminal window. I want to clear the screen. There is one more command called clear, C-L-E-A-R. Screen is cleared here. And also note one more important point here. All the commands, whatever we are going to type here, is only the lowercase letters. No Linux commands are available with capital letters in it. Okay, that is the difference. So for example, if I say for ls, you are going to get output. Now try with the capital ls. Then it says that command not found. This means that Linux is case sensitive, or the Linux command line is case sensitive. It differentiates between capital letters and lowercase letters. So general convention, even in the programming, a Linux user always uses lowercase letters while naming the variables also. That is the convention used. Of course, the exceptions are there. Capital S and lower s are the two different kind of variables. It's not one and same. That is the point you need to remember. Now before going to explore the further some other additional commands, I would like to introduce you to one of the online help which comes with the Linux. That command is called man. Man stands for manual. Okay. How to use man command? Say when you say man, and now we tested two commands. One is the PWD and another is ls. You type that command. Say for example, if you are interested to know more about ls commands, what are the different options, etc., then type man ls, lowercase letter. Keep that in mind. The moment you type in and press enter key, yeah.
Why capital letter was not working?
No, it is not about working. It is the convention used in Linux. Okay. The entire the Linux operating system, because it is actually once again the purpose was to avoid people using shift key and pressing something, etc. No need. Use everything lowercase. Your job is done easily. That's what the idea. It's of course one. Even if you use capital letters and lower letters while coding a C program, it works. But the point is that Linux is case sensitive, and they don't want to implement both capital L and capital ls and lowercase ls. They say that okay, use always lowercase letter. Don't you no need to press the shift key and press some characters. It simplifies your task. That is the idea. Okay,
Yes,
now, yeah, now look into this output of a man command. Now, so this is what I insist you people to learn to use manual page or the man command. Entire man command comes out or is documented using this particular pattern. Look into that. Initially, they display that command in capital letters. Okay. But you cannot use the command ls, it's just indexing it. Then there is a header user command. This ls is a user command. Then that syntax is that name of the command is ls. See this. And what it does, list directory contents. That is given here. Then how to use it? There is a synopsis. They say use ls. Then they say that you can use different options. That option, that's why they wrote it in a square bracket. Options or file. You can write a file name also. You can write some options like what the command, whatever you type, -l is an option. So after writing a ls, you can use it along with the option and file. You can use some options. Not only one option, many options, and even the file name. Then when we say that, now look into the description here. List any information about the files. Currently, the current directory by default, that means in the directory /home/manmohan in my case. Sort entries alphabetically. That's also very important. But you can change it also. How to change it? By passing various parameters. Okay, displaying the content. Otherwise, it will be displayed alphabetically. Mandatory arguments to long options are mandatory for short options also. Now look into this case. What are the different options? You can say -a, or you can also use -all. So many Linux commands, that particular feature is available. Either you can write single minus and write -a short form, or else you can write more in a more descriptive -all, ls all. See, then again, there is a capital A option also. Where is it is called almost all. Do not list implied. This dot and double dots. I will tell you what this dot means, what this double dot means also in the next discussions. Like this, there are various set of options you can provide along with the ls command. Just look into the amount of information that man command has. Various things. No textbooks will give this much of detailed information. Okay, this is the beauty of the man command, built-in man command in the Linux operating system. Along with that, it also says that who wrote this particular manual page. They say that it is written by Richard Stallman and David Mackenzie. Because this particular protocol is followed here in the Linux because Linux is open source. Tomorrow, if you come out with a better documentation for ls and more descriptive or more perfect way of documentation, and you can submit this to the Linux Foundation, and once if they approve, whenever somebody types ls, man ls, then your documentation will be displayed here. Now, as of now, it is written by Richard Stallman. He is the founder of GNU Foundation also. So he wrote this. Then they say that if you have found any bugs in this particular page, then you can report it, because it is a collaborative effort of collaborative culture is available in the open source community. So they are giving it where to report any bugs in this particular piece of information. Similarly, there is a copyright information. Even if the Linux is free, it is governed by some copyright rules also. That is called FSF, Free Software Foundation. There is a foundation called Free Software Foundation. This entire documentation is copyrighted to them. And there are some licensing number, GPL version 3, etc., etc. This is a free software. Now, notice this, read this sentence. It's very interesting. What do you mean by license? As per the FSF license, what you are going to get? This is a free software. You are free to change and redistribute it. There is no warranty to the extent permitted by law, because it's of course a free source. You cannot sue somebody that your manual is not working. If you say that it is not perfect, you correct it. That is the idea here. And see, this is how one particular documentation page is constructed. Once if you understood this particular concept, okay, to come out from the man page, you have to simply press Q. Now look into the last line here. Man page, ls, line 1, press H for help or Q for quit. If you press H, it will say how to navigate through the summary in that particular page. Okay, how to go forward, go down, go up, etc., etc., repeating, search, etc. You can do it with some command lines only. Without using mouse also, you can work with this. If you want to come out of this page back to the command line or the terminal mode, just press Q. We will come back to the main terminal page, man. Similarly, we also tested the first command we tried was pwd. Check it, man pwd. The moment you type it, look into that, what pwd does. Print name of current working directory and how to use pwd. What are the different options? That is also given here. Now look into that. This particular page was written by a person called Jim Mading, and they once again they say that if you can report to any bugs in the software by communicating with them or the reporting to this particular website, then again the copyright. And also they say now there is a command called pwd. This man page also recommends look into one more command, see also get cwd. Then you can, if you are interested on that command, you can go for that particular command also. You can type get cwd. So this is how man command can be used. So remember, and again if you want to know how to use manual command, you can simply type man. Then it will display how to use manual reference manuals, what are the different commands while using man command. See, this entire manual, online manual of the Linux is divided into 6 different chapters. 9 different chapters. Look into this. Manual, the first one, is chapter 1 is the executable program or shell commands like pwd, ls, etc. is the executable programs. There are some system calls. We are going to discuss about what are those system calls. The system calls can be used by high-level programming languages like C. Okay. In C there are read, write, printf, scanf, etc. If you want to get help on that, you need to write chapter number 2 and then write the command, whatever the command or the system call you want to find, you can go through that. Similarly, there are some library calls, special files, games, miscellaneous system administration commands, kernel commands, etc. Page has got, so man command has got 9 different chapters. Now, how to use this chapter number? Now, remember this, you can type man and you will get this, the table. Okay, now let us try for, say for example, I will try man in the page chapter number 2, because these are for system calls. I will try with one command called in the common C programming command, say scanf. Type scanf. This is system call related command. This is, if it is listed under chapter 2, you will get an online help. So online help in chapter 2 is not available for this. Then try with the chapter 3. Immediately it gives Linux Programmer's Manual. All the C program related commands are documented here. This says that there are, what is the scanf command and what are its different variations. And also notice this very carefully, how to use scanf. Scanf, if you want to use, the synopsis says that you need to include in your C program this command, #include stdio.h. Okay. Then if you are using stdio.h, which you are already familiar with, then you can use scanf, fscanf or scanf. What are these? What is this fscanf and scanf also? You can explore it from the manual only. Similarly, there is another category of scanf statement called vscanf, vsscanf, etc. If you want to use that, you have to include this header file, #include std argument.h. arg.h. And they display the general syntax of using it, how to use a scanf statement. Look into this. We already used it. Scanf. Then you have to write some generic pointers, percentage %d, percentage %c, etc. Then comma you can write. And there may be these 3 dots here. 3 dots here indicates that there can be multiple arguments. Try to remember a C program. You can write scanf %d, %d, comma, ampersand a, ampersand b, comma, ampersand b, comma, ampersand c, etc. More than one variable name also you can mention. 5, 3, 6, 7 input also you can give with this scanf. That's what is indicated with these 3 dots. Remember, 3 dot indicates that there are more than one document. There can be more than one document for this command. It's not always more than one. There can be more than one arguments. Argument is the number of values within this particular bracket symbol. That's what we call it as an input argument. Okay, here it says that it should be a generic pointer and multiple inputs. Scanf can take any number of variables and corresponding percentage, ampersand d, ampersand c values, etc., which indicates address. So like this, if you look into the man page, I am not going to in detail about this. So you will get a detailed documentation regarding scanf statement. Once again, then some extra information with the notes. If there is any errors or possible bugs are there, that is also can be listed. Look into this. One example is also given for this, how to make use of scanf command. That is also given here in the man command. Generally in computer labs, we do allow students to refer to this manual page. You need not mug up anything, but you should know what to use, where to use, what is the meaning, what is the context. That's it. Need not mug up anything as far as you go for labs up to you start writing programs, etc. You can always refer these online manuals. Okay, then there are some other commands also. So there is one more interesting command is the date. The moment you type date, you can get today's date now. Saturday, August 8th, the time is 15:49. That is 3:49, 42 seconds, Indian Standard Time. Year is 2020. The command is date. Similarly, if you, and again, if you want to find out what are the different options for a date command, you can type man date. Look into this. You can use it with the different commands also. Say for example, date -u, try with this command. Then this gives the time in Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, Universal Time. Okay, now it is 10:20. If you simply write date command, it will give the current local time, that is the Indian Standard Time. So almost 5 or 30 minutes difference is there between GMT and IST. That's what is displayed here. So the date command, there is one more option called calendar or a CAL. Yeah.
Is the date is the location for the date automatically set, or do we set it after we install?
So during the installation process, we select a time zone. Okay, whenever you go for installing operating systems, it tells us to select a time zone, or sometimes you may set it as automatic installation from the automatic time information from the internet also. That is also possible. You may get it directly from whatever the time settings in your computer right now, that is displayed here. Okay, even the date, whatever the set date in the computer system, that will be displayed here. Now in this, I connect to the internet and I always sync my time with the internet. So you will get the Indian Standard Time now here. Okay, this is about the calendar. And the calendar, you can get it for any month and year also. Simply check out with the Man CAL. You will get different options. Just try to explore. Okay. See, there are different options for this. And in case you can see, for example, calendar -y 2020, then you are going to get the calendar for the year 2020, or sorry, year 2000. Complete calendar you will get. Okay, like this. These and all some very primitive, I mean, very simple commands available with the Linux. Just I am trying to introduce you to that particular command line interface. Main point to remember here is that we can interact with the computer system with these commands. That's what you can find out what is the contents in the folders, etc., etc. Then once again I can clear the screen. Then one more command that you can always use is say for example changing the directory. Now the present working directory, if I type, you are inside this cd/manmohan. Now I want to come out from this directory called manmohan. I have to say change directory and 2 dots. Remember the convention. The entire directory structure is a inverted tree structure. I am coming out of the manmohan and climbing up in the directory structure. That's why coming out cd ... Now if I type pwd, look into the difference now. Previously I was inside the folder manmohan. I came out from it. Now I am under /home folder. Now if I say ls here, under /home, what are the different folders are there? Now I created 4 different user accounts here. One is Manmohan, another is Manu, another is Sanvi, another is Sai Radha. These are the 4 different folders I created. Now if you create multiple user accounts, if you install Linux and if you create one user account for your office purpose, another for your personal use, and a third one for your sister or brothers, so you can create n number of users in your system. And all data files will be kept separate. If I log in, I cannot access any other users' folders. All those contents are secured. Or else if you give your laptop to your brother or sister in your home, he can log in with his own username and password and he can work in the computer. He cannot, that user may not able to alter any data files belonging to you, and you can even block them from seeing your files. Anyway, now the point is about the cd command. If you want to go inside, once again back to the Manmohan folder, you have to type cd, then you write folder name. Okay. Change directory to Manmohan. Then you are there. Now check it, pwd. See, now look into the output. You are inside /manmohan folder. Okay. Similarly, if you say for example ls, if you type, see these are the different folders under folder called Manmohan. You can go inside any of these folders. Say for example, let me go to one folder called desktop, cd desktop. Now if I type pwd, look into the location, look into the path name. This path name, remember the terminology, path name or the present working directory is /home/manmohan/desktop, where home is a folder. Within that home folder, there is a folder called Manmohan. Within that Manmohan folder, there is one more folder called desktop. Now you can look into what is inside this folder, ls. See, there are many different files in my desktop. Now let me go into one folder called computer networks. I can type cd. I can write computer networks. You can, one more shortcut keys are there. If you say, you can type COMP, then you can press a tab key. You will get this by pressing, then remain until the first match. Then you can enter here. Now you are inside a folder. In desktop, one folder called computer networks. So you are inside that. Now if you look into the present working directory, you are inside /home/manmohan/desktop/computer networks. If you look into this folder, computer networks, you will find some more files. You can further go deep into different folders, if any. If you want to come out of computer networks, one level up, then you can come out. Now you are in the desktop. Again, go one level up. You are coming out of desktop. Now you are directly in your home folder. So who is one more command? Of course, I will tell you about that. Now the look into PWD. Now another command is called who. Then the moment you type who, it will list name of users currently logged into the system. Because anyway, this is a laptop now. I am the only user account here. That is possible. That is the case. Two names will come. So actually it displays the name of the users who is logged in currently into this particular system. If you want more elaborate information, type man who. It says show who is logged in, etc. These are the different commands. Okay. This is the one command like who. Similarly, there is one command called host name. It will tell the host name of this particular computer. I named it as Mantra, so that name comes here. Similarly, now how to create one folder. Now within this particular folder, say for example, now I want to create one folder or one directory. In graphical terminology, we say that create a new folder. Similarly, in a command line, I can create a new folder or a directory by using mkdir. This is very much similar to Linux commands also. In Windows also, mkdir. You can name it. Now I will name it as, say for example, Bharat. Now the one folder called Bharat is created, mkdir Bharat. Now you can go inside that particular directory, cd Bharat. Now you created one folder and you browsed through into that particular folder. You can see the contents. You can type ls. Nothing is there in that. If you type ls-l, total 0 files are there in this. That's what. Now this is about creating a folder. Similarly, removing a folder. To remove a folder, you should come out of that any folder. Now if you want to remove a folder, you can say rmdir. So you note down these commands and a brief note on your own words so that you can remember it. It will be useful for you as a quick reference. rmdir is for removing a directory, and you just name it. Now folder is removed. Now if you try to see, if you want to go inside that folder, it's not possible to go there. See, look into this. It will say that no such file or directory, you can't go there. Similarly, if you want to create, I will create it once again. Then I will go inside that. Now I'll type ls command, nothing is there. Here we can create some files. Now let us create one empty file. To create one empty file, there is a simple command in shell that is called touch. Touch. You can try with the man touch command also and give some file name. Say for example, I will give a first, so for example, first file. And I will give my own extension here. Remember, for a normal text files, there is you need not give any extension. By default, there will not be any extension for the no need of any extensions for the Unix text files or the Linux text files. So now just I will create. I created one file here. Touch. Now how to verify whether the file is created or not? Simply type ls-l. It will say that there is only one file, that is a file.txt, and its size is 0. Nothing is there in that. This is about permissions of that file. I am not going to discuss about it right now. This is about the permissions. One file is created. Now in case if you create one file, then you can fill it with some contents also. For the moment I am using one text editor called VI editor or a Vim, and I will try to enter some values in that, some contents. I'll type first file .txt. Now that file is opened, 0 lines, 0 characters are there. Then I will end. Then after that I will save that particular command, or sorry, save that particular file. Now I inserted some content to the file. Now you try to see, use ls command and see the content. Previously notice that it was 0 here. Now you say, now the file size is 35 bytes. Initially it was 0 bytes. Now file is created at 4 o'clock, 3 minutes. Once again modified at 4 o'clock, 4 minutes. Now the data bytes available is 35 in file name first file.txt. This is how we can create one file, empty file with the touch command, and we can name a file. Optionally you can give some extension also. Then you can fill it with some contents using a screen editor or a text editor called Vim or Vim. We are going to study in detail about Vim and its capabilities also. It is something like a MS Word but command line format. You can create different type of documentation with the VI editor also. We call it as a VI editor. Vim stands for improved VI editor. Okay. Or Vim. This is one of the editor which is of course there are around 768 commands are there to use along with the Vim. But you can, whatever you need practically for a normal use for you and me, it's about 15 to 20 commands if you remember. You can write, you can use this VI editor for any type of program coding also. It's not graphical, it is a command line based editor. Okay, now coming back to topic. I created one file. Now how I can look into the content of a file? There is a command called cat. It's not an animal name, it is a cat. Then write file name. The moment you write say cat file name, I typed something there, Manipal Academy of Higher Education in that particular file. Now cat displays the content of a file. Look into this. Well, once again clear it, clear the screen. I'll repeat that. Okay, so I typed it Manipal Academy of H is missing there, Higher Education. So this is what content data I entered it in the text file. By using cat command, I can display that. Similarly, in any folder, if you see, you can, whenever you want to look into the content of a file, you can always use a cat command. If there is a text.
Sir, how to edit the contents of this file?
That's what I said. I edited it and I showed you. That is a little bit, on a separate session is required for basics of VI commands. Okay. That's why I just edited it. There are some commands. I will take that particular topic in some other session, not now.
Okay.
Here my objective is to introduce you to how to type some shell commands in the command line and get the relevant outputs. Okay. Only that is the point to remember in this particular class. So now, then what? Okay, now if you want to remove one file, say again I will go to that particular folder. There is a file called firstfile.txt. How to remove that particular file? For that, you can give rm command, remove. Rm and file name you type. If you write this, you can remove that particular file. See rm file, sorry, first file.txt. Then simply press enter key. File is removed. Check ls-l here. Total files are 0. Previous file, whatever is created, is removed. This is what the file creation, file removing, and browsing through different folders using cd commands, cd ... and cd for some folder names, etc. And some basic commands like calendar, date, etc. All these things also we tried with that today. And there are many such simple commands that there are all variety of that. You can try it out from any textbook and type those commands and try to learn using the command lines. After that, every program, this particular shell program comes with some amount of programming capabilities also. You can make some simple, say for example, if I tell you to create, you have to create 100 folders here with the different names. Either you have to say mkdir command and file name, we did that, mkdir and Bharat. So somewhere we did that particular command. See, all these previous commands also remembered here. Okay, mkdir Bharat. With the arrow keys, you can browse through the previous commands. So mkdir is the one command to create. Now, in case if you want to create 1000 such folders with some name, Bharat 1, Bharat 2, Bharat 3, etc. Whether you try with this Bharat 1, then after that Bharat 2, Bharat 3, every time you have to write one new name and press enter key, enter mkdir Bharat 2, enter key, mkdir Bharat 3, enter, and so on. These things can be automated many a time, such things, on any repeated tasks. For that, you can write some shell programs. Now, what is this shell program? How to write some simple shell programs? That we are going to discuss it in the next class. Anyway, before closing for today, just I will show you one simple command called echo. When you say echo, then you write something, your name. It simply displays whatever you type after echo. Okay. Then say for example, when you say echo $home, What is this $home? These are called environment variables. We can discuss it in the next class. So it says that home folder is /home/Manmohan. And similarly, if you say echo $shell, it says /bin/bash. All these are the different so there are such many shell commands are there. Even this program, shell programming, provides you if case statements, then switch case statements, and many other, to some extent, arithmetic manipulations also you can do. It's not a complete programming language, but a very nice shell scripts. The programs, whatever you write using shell command, is called as a shell script. Generally, system administrators write their own scripts to automate many things, many system administrative related commands as a script. Simply, instead of writing every time multiple times, they will execute that code directly. If you want to create 100 user accounts, setting up different passwords for 100 different users, or after the use deleting all those users at one go, system admins will manage it with the writing beautiful shell commands. We also will study how to write a shell command in the subsequent classes, in the next class onwards. Now, whatever I showed you is with the demonstration. If you also have a Linux machine with you, right, while in your next classes, you can sit near a laptop. You may log into the Teams using your mobile phone. Whatever the commands I am going to write here, you can test it with your computer also, so that you will understand it very well. Okay, this is about this is what I wanted to tell you for in the today's class. The next week onwards, we will go in detail about how to write a shell, few more shell commands, very systematically we will study. And after that, we also will study how to write some simple shell programs. And why the system administrators use shell command also, that also we will study it in the next class onwards. And before that, for the time being, what you can do, you can try to refer to any good shell programming textbook or a basic introduction textbooks of Unix or the Linux. Try out all these commands and something more, whatever I have not covered here today, that also you try to explore. So all these, whatever we are typing is nothing but a instruction given to the computer. As a user, you are giving instruction to the computer to do something. I said echo Manipal. In other words, I am saying to the computer that print Manipal once again back to me, or go to such and such folder, create one file, store the content in the hard disk by writing via editor. These things are automatically done behind the screen. You are instructing to the computer. After that, the computer will take that and execute that code or perform the task unknowingly. All those operations happens in the background. This is about fundamentally about any computers, not only in Windows or Linux. In every computer, so user will give the command. After that, many things happens in the background. Let us study systematically how Linux supports for that, how a normal user can interact with the Linux using shell command. After that, we also look into different graphical commands also in the next subsequent classes. Now, there are actually we have some more time now. If you have any questions, so we can go for one interaction now. Otherwise, I will stop sharing the screen. Yeah, any doubts or any questions? Now there are 42.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sir,
yes.
any books you recommend, like for this?
Yeah, books recommended. One is, have you received lesson plan?
Yes.
Not 5 hours, not lesson plan. Actually, it's syllabus, complete syllabus.
Yeah, I think it's on the team.
Yeah, it is there. In that we recommended there is some listed textbooks. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, that for a beginner that is sufficient. Then if you go to the internet, you go through these books first. It is freely available for download also in the internet. And if you are interested, then you can explore some other books also. There are many materials in the internet, and online materials are also available. PDF materials are also, you will get it. You can make use of it. But whatever by reading, you cannot study anything. Remember that. You need to work it out. When you take some basic shell programming textbook or shell scripts, try to do it. It is a fun. You will enjoy it. Then after that, we will go in depth also as a at the end of the course of this particular course. What I want from you is that you should be confident in installing Linux in a system, configuring it to access to the internet, or installing any important softwares, how to configure the software, how to create, or in other words, how to create a user, or how to administer a Linux system, at least administering a laptop, Linux laptop. All these things should be at your fingertips. Okay, that's what the objective of this particular course. Then if you are coming from different departments like mechanical students are there, civil students are there, electrical sciences students are there. In the open source, there are many tools available, free tools are available, which you can make use of it during your academics also, even after the academics. Okay, there are some technical stuffs. There are some cool stuffs are there. You can use MS instead of you're using MS Office. You can use a Linux software for Linux operating system in your desktop for a day-to-day usage of internet browsing, etc., email accessing, configuring an email client, and editing the different photos, and editing audio, editing videos. What are the different softwares available for those tasks, etc. Also, you can explore. In case so I actually in the last class also I told you to install operating system in your own laptops. How many of you did it in the last in this week? Anybody? You can tell your experience. Some might.
Yeah, I'm using a virtual box.
Okay, virtual box, fine. Okay, then.
I've still not finished setting up, but I've downloaded the files.
You downloaded it, yes. Have you started installing it?
Yes, I just didn't get time to set it up on the VirtualBox.
Yeah, okay. Now, if after the installation process, every Linux installation operating system comes with a software center. It is very similar to your Google Play Store. You can use that and you can search for the software, click on it, then say install, it will be installed. Okay, nowadays all these things are not that difficult to install softwares. Freely you can download those softwares, you can find it out. There is one more tool called Synaptic Package Manager, that also you can install. That also will use as you can use it as a Play Store for an Android phone. Search for, guess the name and search for a software, you will get it. If you want to say, for example, image processing tools, you will get it. If you want good browsers, you will get it. If Mozilla is available and Chrome is available, Chrome you can directly download from their site for a Linux version. After that, you have to install it. And image processing tools.
Sir,
yeah, tell me.
can I use Raspberry Pi for this? Because my laptop is very old, so I don't think I'll be able to install Ubuntu or anything else.
See, actually in this particular course, so majority of the time we are going to spend in command lines, where you need to use some grep commands, awk, etc. I don't know if your Raspberry Pi will allow you to install awk and all those things, and graphic, to the what extent it will support, I don't know. But basic Linux, see, the Raspberry Pi software is nothing but a miniature Linux, Debian Linux. The kernel operating system is Linux only in that, some variant of Linux kernel. So you can try with that, no problem. It is a good experience also. You can try to develop some fun tools with the Raspberry Pi also. Once if you know some basic shell commands, you may find it easy to interact with your Raspberry Pi also using shell commands. Try that and share your experience with me also. Okay. Yeah, any other questions? Anybody?
Sir, I've been using Linux since the last sem, and my aim was that I wanted to learn about Linux driver development.
Yeah, see, Linux device driver development, it needs somewhat, you are from which department?
So I'm from E&I.
Yeah, okay. I think then you can do it, provided you should know a good understanding of C language.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, then hardware, because electronic students will be better in that case compared to computer science also. Hardware parameters, if you want to write a driver for something like a device, then you need a hardware specification for that. That also possible. See, there are many different books also. In Linux kernel development, there is one book is available from Orille publication. That also you can use. Try to explore the things, because it is a hardcore coding, that's it. There you need to install or make use of different library functions for the development of device drivers. Okay. Even the kernel development, kernel module optimization, etc. These are the different, of course, out of the scope of this particular subject. But as an advanced user, if you're good in coding, you can try explore all these things. Complete Linux operating system source code is available for download and examination. You can go for reverse engineering also. All the softwares, whatever is available in Linux, you can get its source code. That is the beauty of it. Okay, say for example, just now we tried with the pwd command, we tried with the ls commands. You will get the source code of that programs also. ls is a program and it is compiled and stored as a ls command. pwd is a C program written and object code is stored there in the Linux. That's why you are using it. Now you can download that source code and you can try to understand. So that also will give you very good idea of how these programs are being developed, how modular it is, sometimes how messy it is. Everything you will understand. It is very interesting to go for reverse engineering and studying some stuffs. Search for the source code of ls command, you will get it. You will get the online documentation also for that. So while discussing about system administration, I will try to cover these aspects also. Yeah, any other questions? But I insist everybody to install Linux. Once again, somehow in your system, during the class, next class onwards, I want to see you people working and testing these commands, everything, and exploring these commands in your machines. Otherwise, it is simply somebody, I am telling something here from my end and you are listening something and doing something, everything happens in online mode. So that should not be the case. Okay. During the installation process of your Linux machine, if you need any help, you can feel free to contact me also, no issues. Better if you ask somebody at your native place who knows the stuff, who will help you out in this particular issue. Yeah, anybody, anything else? Attendance already I have taken from the teams. Oh, there was a question like echo is like a print statement. Yes, it is. It is almost like echo is like a print statement. There are some questions. It is like a print statement, but it prints to the monitor. Echo, and whatever you write next one word, that is displayed there. We will explore more on those echo commands in the next class while we try to write some shell programs. Yes, any other questions? Okay then. We'll meet you in the next session with we are going to start with the shell programming part. In that, we'll try to develop some small programs and see that. Okay, bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.